All right, fastest 15 minutes in social media, fastest 15 minutes on the internet. My name is Judson Powell. Excuse me. Anyway, want to continue to just push in on some certain things that are going on right now. And one of those things that's going on is I'm not really fond of Ice Cube. I'm not really fond of Akon. I'm not really fond of Boyce Watkins or uh, Dr. Claude Anderson, Dr. Watkins. I don't mean to disrespect them or anything like that. Here's the problem. And I don't think that everybody is really grasping onto this. And here's the real problem. The problem is it's not about the real issue is not about police brutality. It's not about the black agenda. It's not about reparations. All this election is about is trying to get rid of Trump. Basically, you can break it down. The single common denominator in this entire election is getting rid of Trump. Trump is a horrible president. He's a horrible person. He's got all of these charges pending against him. Bill Cosby is in jail. Even for it's like, and this man has somewhere between 14 and 17 sexual assault allegations against him, as well as accusations of pedophilia and everything else. Not to mention, he has been a bad leader throughout the entire pandemic. In fact, you do realize a lot of people, a lot of black people, and a lot of people that are his haters and all that, probably would have voted for him if he would have handled the pandemic correctly. No matter what his racist views are, people would have still voted for him. Why? Because he did a good job, but he has not done a good job. Next thing, he does not follow the rule of law. There is no rule of law in the United States of America. Basically, and then we have Bill Barr, his attorney general. The attorney general is supposed to be looking for criminals, trying to put criminals in jail, not trying to exonerate criminals and make excuses for criminal activity. And for him to come out, Bill Barr came out and said what? He said that basically that the whole police brutality against black people is overstated. Okay. And we still got all of this, the whole, and then Briana Taylor, we have a black lawyer who could actually bring these people to justice. And guess what? He's not going to bring them to justice. Briana Taylor's, her murderers are going to probably walk free. That's probably what's going to happen. And on top of that, they tried to get her boyfriend to accept a plea deal in order to say that she was guilty of a whole bunch of stuff that he says that she was not guilty of. All right, so that they don't have to, so that they can blame the victim. Once again, we see that the whole thing to this thing is victim blaming. If they kill you or murder you, then there was a reason. I've seen so many negative comments about George Floyd and all of that. It's ridiculous. The victims. I don't care. I don't care what your past is. Nobody deserves to get choked to death in the middle of the street, especially over something that was not a violent crime. And nobody was in harm's way. Nobody was in danger or anything like that. But that's basically what we got. So, police brutality, the reason why the Black Panthers was started was because of police brutality. So we're talking about 50 years at least, and we're not even talking about all of the stuff that went on during Jim Crow and all of that. So we're talking about, let's just throw a nice round 100-year figure out there, because as soon as 1863 came around, and supposedly slaves were free, but there were people out there that were still going back around and capturing slaves, and that's where we got the whole thing about the police and all that. But it's just ridiculous. And then my other my other rant has been about the whole thing with people just don't get it. I mean, they don't get it. The reason why you vote is because you want to get this guy out. This guy's a bad guy. He's a bad president. He's not a good president. You know, even one of the worst economic presidents ever, Baby Bush screwed the economy up, but he was not a bad person. He was not a person that you would say, I don't want him anywhere around me, or I don't want him to represent me or anything like that. And even though he had his faults, especially when it came to economics, but he has some dignity and class to him. Trump has none of that. And Trump is a victim blamer. Then we have all these, like this Candace Owens girl who comes on here, and she legitimately is like hating on anybody black that's been brutalized or killed or murdered, just because. I don't know what that's about. I have no clue. I no matter what, if a person gets murdered, or if a person, gets brutalized or whatever, no matter what color they are or whatever, just like even look at the Republican Party. I mean, Herman Cain died. They didn't even mention him. They didn't even mention him at the convention. Didn't say a word. And he actually caught the coronavirus going to a Trump rally. But they didn't say a word. He's not but this 17-year-old kid that kills two people and wounds another person, he's a hero, and everybody's talking about him. And they done raised like all of this money to help him. Hundreds of thousands. I think they said it's like $250,000 now for his legal defense fund. And he walked up and shot two people in cold blood. What legal defense is there for that? I'm trying to figure out, two people that weren't bothering you and were minding their own business. And on top of that, two white guys. He shot two of his own compatriots or whatever. So let's not get, and with Boyce Watkins, Dr. Boyce Watkins and Dr. Claude Anderson, I see all of they, because I'm in a lot of their groups and a lot of their websites and all that stuff, and all they do is they're sending you down the pathway to failure, and it seems like they're doing it for money now. And it doesn't, it didn't seem that way at first, but now, unfortunately, it seems that way. Because what they're talking about is completely ridiculous. Okay, so what happens if you get, and here's the other thing that I keep on trying to get y'all to understand and wake up and realize. An unchecked, lame duck, Donald Trump, will destroy what's left of America. See, we're not really, because he's still there, we're not really feeling the full impact of all the unemployment. They just extended the whole thing about not allowing people to be evicted, but that can't go on forever. It's until December now, but even when it gets lifted, the moratorium against eviction, even when it gets lifted, what's going to happen? You've got all of these people, and you're getting about 1 million people. You're getting about 1 million people every couple of weeks that are applying for unemployment, and now they don't believe the hype when they say, oh, unemployment claims have gone down. That's only because everybody's already applied. All right, and the other thing is, and the reason why the stimulus money is not flowing, because there is no money. There is no money. The airlines, the hotels, all of the travel industry is about to go under. Because they're not flying planes. People are not traveling. Countries have travel bans because of the coronavirus. United States, and I saw a map where most people with United States passports are not allowed to, you're not really allowed into any country, any foreign countries, unless it's an emergency. So all of this stuff has not hit yet. It's not, because the only reality, you got to wear your mask and you got to stay home and all that. But even that, and I've been talking about that Pathology, And I've been banned from social media sites and all this kind of stuff for talking about the pathology of the coronavirus. And a friend of mine posted on her timeline yesterday talking about, look, the only time that the like you can walk around for days and days and days and years and years and years, but the only time it comes, like if you go to the hospital, if you go to the doctor, or if you go somewhere like that, all of a sudden they find it and you got it. The Rock, Dwayne Johnson, him and his entire family, I guess, have COVID. And unfortunately, what they're saying, I just don't believe. And in fact, Trump is not really saying anything. He's just saying it's going to go away. But it's not going away. And then how can you how can you justify releasing people, releasing criminals from his administration from jail, but making kids go to school? And sit up there, and all these universities and colleges are getting literally thousands of new coronavirus cases, but we're going to send kids into schools and all this kind of. Nobody knows the pathology. Nobody knows how you catch it. Nobody, besides wash your hands and wear a mask. That's idiocy. It's like, okay, really? But how are these germs being spread? How do you catch it? And then once you catch it, how do you, and there's no protocol. They can't go on TV. They should be able to go on TV and tell you, look, don't do this because this is what will make you sick. Wearing a mask does not prevent you from getting sick. And I want everybody to realize that wearing a mask does not prevent you from getting sick. Unless you have on, and that's the other thing, unless you have on a certain type of mask that filters out all the microscopic particles that could possibly get you with the virus. And we don't even know. Okay, so, and you don't know what you're gonna meet up with the person that's gonna be your nemesis, is gonna kill you. It's like this is like, and then the other thing is, and then human beings are human beings, and that's the one real thing that I really think that everybody's forgetting. We are social creatures. We are social beings. Human beings like each other. We like being around each other. We like to party and hang out with each other. We like to, even if we just sit there and have a conversation with each other, we like that. And going to this whole, whatever they want to call it, New World Order or whatever they want to call it. The bottom line is you're not going to be able to virtually do everything in your life. I can't imagine I don't know. I got wife and kids and all of that. So what is it like? How do I, so I don't have any contact with anybody because of virus and all this kind of stuff. And finally, Trump just is he just is not taking care of that. I wouldn't even look if he did a good job, and even all the stuff that he's promised, he's lied. There is no border wall. There is no crisis at the border. All of these things have proven to be lies and propaganda and stuff that was made up. Just what? So he could get elected. So he could excite his constituency and get them to vote for him. And they're gonna vote for him again. Don't get me wrong. And I just hope that everybody else wakes up and votes against him. See, because it ain't got nothing to do with the black agenda. And then once we get Biden in, or then that's when you start focusing on black agendas, and you start focusing on reparations, and you start focusing on, the electoral college and things that need to be changed constitutionally. But right now, that's not, to argue with Biden about that right now, that's stupid. First put him in office and then hold him accountable. Demand that he honor our agenda. That's how you do it. But not to vote, or to tell people not to vote and all this kind of crazy stuff, that's ridiculous, because that plays, if your vote wasn't important, then they wouldn't be spending so much time, effort, and money on voter suppression. They're spending a lot of time on voting. I mean, hey, look, yesterday the president told people in North Carolina to vote twice so that they can suppress your vote. Anyway, Fast 15 Minutes is up. My name is Judson Powell. Please hit the like button. Please hit the subscribe button. I'm back off of vacation. I'm going to be here every day. Maybe. Anyway, love you.